Well, good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? February 10th. Yes, it is. Wow. Time is flying by. Time is flying by. It's precious. And I say up there on the screen, waste it wisely. Waste it wisely. Yes, waste your time wisely. Gosh, I can't say it enough. Jimmy Dague is here today. And let's see, let's get him on the show. And we will put this down. There he is. Good morning, Jimmy.
Morning.
Raise your head up just a little bit if you can. There we go. There you are. Yes. Yeah. Terrific. Gee, we've missed you.
It's been a busy week, and for the year to start off this busy is crazy.
Yes, I didn't do the stats today because I want to cover some other things and get out of here to go down to the class because we have our contracts class today. And Jimmy, I want to let everybody know that the division has decided when the 36 hours start for continuing ed and when the 120 hours start for new agents.
Yeah, so November babies, December babies, 36 hours, and it's 6 hours of contracts, which we have obviously 3 today.
Yes.
So they have to have 6 hours of contracts. It's a good thing we have another contracts class pending approval because we'll need 2. And 9 hours of property management if you have a PM permit.
Right.
That's a lot of PM. I was in a class the other day for property management, and the instructor was excellent. She wrote a great course. It was too basic for me. I checked out after an hour. I said, look, keep my money. It's not the teacher. It's not the course content. It's too basic. And I can't spend 3 hours in a class like this. So I said, I'm not looking for the CE. Keep my money. It's not about that. It's about what am I doing with my time? That your opening screen here, time is precious, waste it wisely.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Oh, my phone. People are always calling me the day of the class to find out if they can join us live. If you are, you can.
3 hours of risk reduction. Will Jack's class qualify for that, you think?
Yeah, possibly.
I think he needs to resubmit that for on a different designation.
Yeah, that would be great.
Additional designation, because it is risk reduction.
It is. So people could take it if they want ethics, they could take it. If they want risk reduction, they could take it.
Yeah, I'll talk to him about that today.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Great idea. So Jimmy, I didn't do the stats today because I didn't want to take the time up today. Nothing's really changed. We got 0.9 months of inventory. We continue to have that issue, and you missed our class. I think it was yesterday where I provided in the Ruthie Rocks group the letter. Let's see if I can find it. I have a buyer for your home.
Okay, right? Yeah, I didn't see that. You're right. I didn't see it.
And this is a way to get the sellers off the fence because of COVID. It's a way to find a home for your buyers. And I did a nice presentation at Karen Cachero's office yesterday. She's Advantage Realty. Hey, Leslie, good to see you. Good morning. Cool. What a great way to walk. But anyway, so, and I told them that when you do this letter, say something a little bit about your buyer so they think it's legitimate. I'm sure that people have been getting these letters for years because, we've always tried to get sellers one way or another. But this, if you really have a buyer, it's a great way to tell something about that buyer, what they're looking for, and if the seller wants to sell their home, they can save some commission too. You can, I'm just saying, you can get 3% and they don't have to pay someone else 3% or however you want to work it. It's an opportunity that I think that we need to embrace because I don't see the inventory fluctuating up.
Well, if you get a buyer too, and they know how hard you work for them, they will probably send you more people. And you and I both know that 35% of buyers are first timers, which means 65% of buyers, they actually have a house to sell. So if you want some listings, if you get a buyer into a home, we have a lot of people that say, well, I don't want to sell my house until I have someplace else I've already got locked up.
Correct.
And so sometimes if you get the buyer, you can get a listing as well.
Absolutely. And Jimmy, I I have a couple 2-minute clips of Garyvee that I want to share with people
Right.
today. And then I want to talk about, or maybe I'll say this first. If you have a neighborhood that you know is a neighborhood where your buyers or your potential buyers would want, get the title company to give you that list and go and research those people. And you can research them on LinkedIn. You can see if they're on Facebook. You can see if they're what platform they may be on, and then find out about them, and then direct message them. And I have some items of value that you can give them. So let's do this before we do the Garyvee clips. So if you, from your title company, you get something, one of the things that people, maybe your sellers have a debt problem, but you want to say, you want to send this and say, look, this came across my desk. I thought you might be interested in it. And you can direct message to them because you found them on Facebook, for instance, or Instagram or LinkedIn. They all have messaging, direct messaging. And you can give them the link to this and say, just thought you might be interested in this, and send it to them. You can also send them this. Whoops, let me put this down here. Sellers at a glance, and tell them what's going on, why people are selling, why sellers should move, things like that. This is valuable information that you can share with people directly. And you can say, like if they have dogs, you can say, hey, I love your dogs. I'm a dog lover. I know Leslie is, she's here today. I'm a dog lover, and I just wanted to share some information with you in case you're thinking of selling your home. This is a great time. Interest rates are low, and so on and so forth. And then if you have people, those same people may want to also, they may also want to buy. So if you're thinking of selling your home and then you're thinking of buying a home, here's some information for you. And again, it's about being a person and about sharing information with people that they might find valuable. And if you can get if you can get 10, 20 people that you can find out of the 100, this is a little work, but you can find them on the social platforms, and that you can start communicating and sending them valuable information. And of course, I think you should also video them, but at least get started doing something because things are changing, Jimmy. Things are really changing in our market, and it's harder and harder to find the sellers. And I don't know that it's going to get any different this year. I really don't. If the statistics prove true, we are going to have to find more ways to get sellers, which will become buyers. I don't know how you feel about that, but.
Well, I think that it's easier to find buyers. And when you realize that 2/3 of those buyers are going to be sellers too, so everybody's chasing listings right now. And the challenge really, to me, the buyer skill that you need is to be able to get your offer accepted. What are you saying to get your offer accepted? Because if I get a buyer, we make 4 offers, and they get frustrated. They say, you know what, I'm just going to rent again. I'm just going to lease out my house. I'm going to sign another lease. I'll come back in the market a year. If they get too frustrated and they give up, it's a skill set issue with us. And that they changed the purchase agreement in December, and they kind of did it on a stealth way. That it's a new purchase agreement. Did you know that?
I saw that it was, but are we going to talk about the differences today?
We can. You got Garyvee. We can do it on Friday.
Okay.
You want to do it on Friday? I'll lay out a few things and I'll send them to you.
Okay.
And if you like them, then we'll present it on Friday.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
You need to know it's a new purchase agreement. There are some changes.
Yeah, I did notice it was different. Yeah, let's listen to Garyvee. I'll mute us and we'll listen to him, and hopefully this will work. I always tell everybody, because I don't have a producer, I have to go on my phone and make sure that, because sometimes people don't tell me that they can't hear me or they can't hear what we're doing. And Jimmy, just so you know, I took myself off of my personal platform, and we are streaming from Agent Formula's business page and from Ruthie Rocks groups because Facebook said too much promotion on my personal page. So, so I've been telling that and telling people so that they know where to find us. So it'll take a little while to get our followers back up there, but we will. Let's see if I can get this here. Nope, of course not. Okay, so okay, let's just roll it.
Let me promise everyone here, you want to win in 2021? Be nicer. you've got your perspective. I just want to be happy. Don't you want to be happy?
Welcome, Gary Vaynerchuk, to Dado Kickoff 2021.
I am so happy to be here, and thank you so much. Clearly you spoke to my mom before that intro. You're very, very sweet. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for having me. I'm extremely excited to get into this talk and really, to be frank, get into the Q&A because I love the practicality of that. So we'll be getting to that in the back end. For some of you that don't know me, I am a kind of born entrepreneur, back to the lemonade stand franchise and sports cards, which are back, by the way, now. In my
Constantly the face of the company and
I came
creating
forward
content in one way or the other. So what's the greatest lesson in terms of content that you've learned over the years that you might want to share with the team?
When you're a sales-driven organization, the most important thing to do with content is make it brand. Content on the internet is everyone here's opportunity to offset the aggressiveness of what is sales. It's an opportunity to provide value to the audience. It's a way to provide affinity towards you and your company by showing the humanity, AKA silly things like, just think of The Office, the TV show. Like if you have somebody funny in your company named Ricky, like get Ricky on video because it shows a different side to what everyone's accustomed to, which is the cold LinkedIn, the cold email, the cold call, the very quick to, hey, let's do business at a conference. So the biggest thing I've learned for sales-driven organizations, which is amazing, I love sales-driven organizations, you know, is thinking about content as your appetizer to the sales being the meal. If you have a great appetizer, you're setting up a great meal. And so I think the biggest mistake, I see it over and over and over and over and over and over and over in these dynamics, is that people use content as a sales engine instead of a brand engine. Nike doesn't cold call you or knock on your door and ask you to buy, you know, their sneakers. And even when you think about Salesforce and SAP, even though they have great sales DNA and infrastructure, there's so much brand going on for a reason. You need to have that offset, right? You need to have that honey to the vinegar. You need to have that good cop to the bad cop. Content on LinkedIn is the good cop. And I think that is a very difficult maneuver for the DNA of most of the people that are watching this right now. Period. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you're bad. Doesn't mean you're stupid. It means that there's a humongous, uncomfortable, monstrous opportunity that if you heed the strategy of what I'm talking about and start implementing it, like why not do an hour of Q&A on LinkedIn and just answer questions? Everyone's so fear-based and so like lack of, you know, people are not abundant, right? Like I give away all my best advice. I'm not scared of somebody starting another agency or another agency taking it. Like it doesn't matter, the world's abundant. I'm gonna get mine.
Why do you think it is that people in sales-driven organizations might have that fear? And what advice can you give to kind of overcome it? Because like you said, there's this monstrous opportunity, but sometimes there's a lot of hesitation there.
Almost everybody thinks that resources are limited and almost everybody has a boss. I don't have a boss, so it's easy for me to talk this way. You know, I have empathy and compassion for somebody who's listening right now and does a seminar and gives away a lot of great advice and their boss coming to them and saying, what the hell are you doing? That's like how we get clients and then they get fired or lose their bonus or are pegged down in the organization. Unfortunately, fear is remarkably effective and a real human trait. I just don't believe in it. And so I just believe that there's so much more financial and by far, there's more financial, but by far, there's so much more happiness on the back of going with optimism and abundance as your mindset. And so I think it's culture. I think it's the industry culture for many, 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 many years. And I think that business has historically had a cold, you know, kill or be killed kind of mentality. And you know, I think of sports a little bit, I think of business more like sports. I, as a fan, get so angry after a Jets game when my Jets lose and they go and hug all their friends on the other team because I'm pissed. But the reality is I actually fully understand it. I want to kill, crush, destroy, defeat, outmaneuver everybody I compete with at every second. It is my DNA. However, not at the detriment of their lives. Like, I want to do 10 trillion and I want you to do 9 trillion. And that's how I think, and I wish more people realized how real that is and how true that can be. And that's what I think about.
Yes. So Jimmy, he's talking about, the fear of people giving. If you listen to the whole, and I don't want to play the whole thing, but the whole thing is about giving. And I think that people are really just plain scared of giving. And I think that's why they don't do more video. They don't do more of what we tell them to do. They don't do the work to go and get personal with people. We think that we're esoteric up here, but we need to be people. We're people. And we need to relate to people on that level. And I like the way he says appetizers. You give them appetizers. Like, you direct message them those 3 items of value that I showed in the beginning of the show. And you show them that, you understand the market. You understand that perhaps, they need to get their debts together before they can sell their house to buy a house. Because we just went through a 2020, a year, that maybe had financial challenges for people. We don't know. And we don't necessarily want to directly ask them, but we can say, oh, by the way, if you know someone who, needs to understand how to reduce their debt so they can buy another house, or you have kids that want to buy their first house, you can approach it without hurting their feelings, as if you're directing that debt reduction document and help document to them personally. So you have to think as a person how the consumer is going to receive what you say. And when you do that, it's amazing what engagement you get.
Well, it's interesting that he also talked about mindset, scarcity versus abundance. If you have an abundance mindset, you're not afraid to give away. And I think it's a recipe. And I think the recipe is you tell them on a consistent basis, this is what you need to do. And then you show them how to put the ingredients together. You actually take them to the next step, because telling them what they need to do, that doesn't get them to the goal line. You've got to tell them, okay, here's the mindset you need. Here's what you have to do. Here's how you're actually going to do it. Now execute. And they have to have all the pieces. And I think that's part of the reason some people don't get there. A, they're screwed up in their mindset, or B, they're not really sure what to do. And you've given them formula after formula. And then, okay, now I understand the formula. How do I actually do this? Show me which buttons do I push? How do I record myself? And then execute. And you have all the pieces here, but
Yes.
but the mindset piece they have to have internally. If they're not doing it, that would be the first place to look inside first. If you're not doing this, look inside first. Do you really believe in this whole abundance thing, or are you more scarcity? If you're scarcity, good luck.
Well, I had dinner with someone on Friday night that told me that 300 new inductees came into the MLS last month or December. I forget what month he said, but more and more people are becoming agents. And I think that, if you have a book of business, that's fantastic. But if you don't have a book of business, reach out to your title companies and start building a book of business. And you've got to start somewhere, and you've got to start with giving, the appetizers and giving the value and coming from that positivity perspective with abundance, just like you're saying. And Jimmy, I was thinking about this, that the internet is a gift. It really is a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And last year we saw that a lot of the people lost that gift.
They
lost
turned them
their
off?
voice.
They shut them off? Yeah.
They shut them off. So we don't know what's ahead of us. And I think that we should look at 2021 as the year where we have every opportunity to do whatever it is that we want to do to make ourselves happy and have a business that flourishes in the future. Because if you just got into this business, like the 300 a month people are joining the board, you need to start immediately connecting with people, because it may become more difficult as time goes on, not easier as time goes on. And that's why I love Buffini, because he sticks to the basics, the snail mail, the pop-bys, the phone calls, the voicemails, the things like that. And
no platform can turn that off on you. No platform can turn off your snail mail. No platform can turn off your phone calls and your pop-bys. Platforms don't have control of that. You do.
So to that point, if you use social media this year and the internet to build your book of business or to increase your book of business, then as things may change, I mean, Facebook changes all the time, Twitter changes all the time, Instagram changes all the time. Instagram is migrating to a different type of a platform than it used to be. And so Facebook hopefully will stay a relationship-based platform, because that's why I embrace it, because it is about relationships. But you have to think, what if things change? And they always change. Things always change. And if you wait, you're going to lose.
Well, I think if you ask a seller how important they thought the social media platforms were to market their house on a scale from 1 to 10, I think they're going to put it right up there on 8, 9, or 10. And so if you don't have the social media skills and you're not continually working on them, my friend Ruthie Allbrand just had a challenge with Facebook, and I consider her a Facebook expert. And they said, you're doing too much promotion on your personal page,
Right.
and you're in this every single day. I mean, 7 days a week, you're aware of what's going on here, and you're getting coached on it on top of it, and you're coaching other people. And you know that when you coach someone else, they ask questions, and let me go look that up. I have to find that out. You learn every time you coach somebody, they ask you questions. And for you to be in the situation where you're on the front lines learning about this stuff, everyone needs someone like you to watch and see what they're doing. And when you see Facebook turn you and say, I'm sorry, your personal page is too much promotion, man, that's a huge lesson for everybody.
It is. It really is. Yeah, it is. And to kind of segue a little bit, I had a new listing that went up, and I actually John did, but I did the promotion for it, and one day got a overlist offer, close in 14 days, because I advertised it on the internet. On Facebook. Facebook is a tremendous platform, and when they admonished me, oh my God, I felt terrible. But I just kept going, and I said, well, we'll just put it over on the business page, and we've been performing in Ruthie Rock, so it'll all come back. But still, the point is that 80% on your personal page needs to be personal, and only 20%. And I would even take it down farther than that, because what they told me is that they will stifle my engagement. I don't want them to do that if I didn't move immediately. They gave me a deadline. If you don't move over. So anyway, I did.
A lot of work.
And to the point that things are going to change before we have to wrap up, I want to show this last piece. Obviously, I watched this Garyvee video, and it was really, really good. And let's see if it'll start at minute 42. The first one didn't start where I wanted it to, so let's see if this one will. Nope.
Promise everyone
Oh,
here.
it doesn't do that. It says it will. So let me move it forward to the end. I'm moving it forward to the end. And let's see. Hang on. Let me see what number, where we're going here. We are going to minute 48. What you can do now with YouTube, everybody, is you can give people timelines where information is, which I just love that. So I think it's right about here.
You want a country club, or part of the same Elks Club, or part of the same book club with somebody that potentially you could do business with. You would be human, and you would win around human interactions. I just believe that this scales your ability to do it with 200 people instead of 2.
Yeah, and I think that's something every single one of us can take away, whether we're in marketing, sales, support, success. We're all interfacing with partners in different ways, and that's something we can take away. And there's a great example of that. The first time I ever went to an MSP trade show, I was at a table with a bunch of CEOs that we serve at managed service providers. We talked about business for 10 minutes. We talked about Star Wars for an hour and a half. And it was just that human connection. And I think there's so many opportunities for each one of us, regardless of our role, to really act on what you're saying, Gary, and make those human connections. I know we only have a few minutes left.
Let me just say one more thing. I apologize.
Yeah. No, go for it.
Let's not demonize technology, which a lot of people are doing because they want to use it as an excuse to not do it. Realize that technology is the gateway to real interaction, and your life will change.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we just have a couple minutes, so I'm going to pick one question here. We have a lot of good ones, but we're growing as a company. It's very exciting to see where we're going. And I think how do we, one of the big questions that we had from multiple people actually was, how do we keep teams motivated and keep the company culture at the same time as we scale and become much bigger?
Happy hours, fun stuff. Have a quiz show. Content is the unlock. It just is. You may not see it. You may not think you're good at it. You may not want to do it, but it's been so consistent and obvious, and it will continue. Let me show you something real quick. You think Zoom and TikTok and Instagram are crazy? This is coming. Now, eventually when it's humongous, as big as I'm gonna predict right now, I don't think it's gonna be some huge device that's gonna be like this. I think it's gonna be closer to contact lenses or much smaller. But in the next 15 to 30 years, we will live in a VR world. And you're gonna think the iPhone and TikTok was child's play. You will be in virtual conferences, you will be doing virtual meetings, you will. And if you're 60 right now and you're watching, be like, good, I'm not gonna have to deal with that, I'm gonna retire. That's fine, I understand. But the thesis remains. Figure out how to be human, figure out how to bring value, figure out how to do content. And this, I think of this as, this is a marathon, this is coming. So how do you train for a marathon? Well, you run on the treadmill every day. To me, LinkedIn and Instagram and Twitter and making content, starting your own podcast, this is training for the race. This is training for the race. I really, really need you to train for the race. It's how all of society is gonna be structured. Definitely business.
That's amazing. Thank you so much again to everybody who's listening. Definitely go check out Garyvee.
So there's a message there. And the message is that you've got to get on that treadmill today. You've got to start today. You just have to. And yesterday when I was doing a presentation, Jimmy, at Karen's not here today. Karen had, like 20 of her agents listen to me and Kane talk about technology and things like that. And it was amazing to me. She has a lot of brand new agents and they think they know it all when it comes to technology, because they grew up with, instead of a rattler in their hand, right? They grew up with a phone in their hand. So they don't realize the value of it. And I think that, if you're brand new to the business and you want to get ahead, you have to realize the value of technology. And it's deeper than you think. It's not just something that you can go on and learn how to do something easily. You have to have tactics and strategies. And I see these young people, and I talked to them yesterday, and I thought, oh dear, they think they don't need it. If they can communicate on it, they don't realize how to communicate on it.
Well, technology leverages, but the communication still has to be good. You showed us a letter. I may have a buyer for your home. And we said, I may have a buyer. Would you like to meet a buyer for your home? Turns the tables on them. And if you thought about selling your home and didn't put on the market because of all the challenges of being on the market, open houses, showings, if you could eliminate all of that, then would you be interested in meeting a buyer? So talk to them about them and the language that you use. Technology doesn't teach you that. That takes time on the planet. That takes somebody looking over your shoulder and saying, look, this is good. This would be better. And you can be coached at 67. I come to you, I get coaching from you. So but if I'm 25 and I think I know everything, I'm not open to coaching. I'm never going to, you're not going to figure this out on your own. You're just not.
Right. And you can't do 1,000 push-ups in a day. It doesn't work that way. If you're just starting out, you've got to be 10 push-ups a day for 100 days or whatever, and learn along the way what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And that builds your self-esteem. And the one reason why people don't do videos is because of their self-esteem, and they're scared. And the only way to overcome those fears and to build those muscles is to be consistent and do it. And not every day are you going to do it right, Jimmy. Is that correct? I watched you do 100 push-ups like, oh my God, that was fantastic.
4 days a week. You're not going to do it every day. You're right. You overtrain and you overtrain 4 days a week. You have to have some time off. When you do your exercise in the morning, I'm sure ideas come to you because you're out in the sunlight. Do you take your dogs with you?
Sometimes, yeah. At least once a week.
Yeah. I mean, they get out too.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's better than that?
Yeah.
And John comes, and so, yeah, it's consistency. Anything for the new agents you'd like to add? Because I was really concerned yesterday after talking to them.
No, I think that some of them will figure out, maybe I don't know everything. And sometimes it takes a whack on the side of the head. Karen brings you in and you throw out 5 ideas and 3 of them they've never even heard. And they realize, see, you have to realize that you're the unconscious incompetent to move to the conscious incompetent. Oh my God, listening to Ruthie rocks. Now I realize what I didn't know. Now you can set some goals and some targets and what do I need to learn and see if you can prioritize what you have to learn. They'll figure out that they need to learn all the time.
Yes. Yeah, I hope so, and those are the people, when I heard that 300 agents just joined the board, I thought, oh my God, what are we going to do now? I mean, we can't keep building all these agents. What do you think? I mean, I don't know.
1,700 came in last year. We only grew by 150.
So a lot left.
A lot left. And some of those that left were people that just never have embraced the social media and the technology, the filming. So, and they're up to 3 orientations a month now. They're scheduling 3 orientations a month. So, because they got so backed up. So that'll happen another 2 or 3 months or so, and then they'll get caught up. But the people that are getting in, there's almost as many getting out.
So, and one thing, Jimmy, to that point, while you're talking, I'm thinking, and probably and I know like a California agent came into our office 2 weeks ago looking for an office. So a lot of these new people may be seasoned agents from California or Arizona or wherever they're coming from, which and they may bring competition to the table too. So, I don't know. This year, I think it's going to be a pivotal year. I said it last year. I'm going to say it again. We've got the vaccine. Hopefully our market will be that check mark that we predicted. And I don't know what's going to happen to our business with the DOJ and all the things coming down the pike. This year is a year of change. Let me just sum it up like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. If we thought 2020 was crazy, I don't think 2021 is going to be any more sane than 2020 was.
Yes, it's going to be a lot of changes. And Jimmy, I got to get out of here so I can run down Sahara and get to class. We're going to do contracts. And I think we have some room for some people if they want to come into the class versus do the Zoom. But you can Zoom or come into the class. Great. I love you, Jimmy. I'll see you in 15 minutes.
Okay.
Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow.